Have you ever wanted to walk away from a bad situation, only you felt trapped and like you didn't have any better options? That's what BATNA can help you with. In negotiation speak, BATNA stands for Best Alternative to a Negotiated Agreement. In this sprint, you'll learn what exactly a BATNA is, along with a real story from my own experience. By the end of this sprint, you'll have a good sense of how to create and use a BATNA to strengthen your negotiating angle. So I remember negotiating for my second Scrum Master job. I'd been caught up short negotiating for my first Scrum Master job, and I wanted to put myself into a better position, both money-wise and also in terms of good health care and flexible work hours, since my daughter was young at the time. I felt that the company's recruiter, Vivek, had made a good offer to me in terms of money. But when I asked about flexible work time, for example, the opportunity to attend events like my daughter's soccer practice in the middle of the day, Vivek said, "We don't really allow for that at this company." Fortunately, I managed to resist my initial tendency to simply say no to his offer. Instead, I reached out to my mentor, Paula, and said, "Paula, I could really use your help here. I've been negotiating my total compensation package for this new job. I really like the company, the culture, and even the pay. But they don't seem willing to budge on flexible work hours, and my family is obviously really important to me. Our negotiation is at an impasse. What can I do?" I could see Paula putting on a thinking face over video. Then she asked me, "What's your BATNA?" I laughed and said, "My what? That sounds like a baseball bat." She smiled and said, "Your BATNA. That stands for Best Alternative to a Negotiated Agreement. Your BATNA is the alternative action that you're going to take if your proposed agreement fails to materialize." I said, "Okay, I see." Paula said, "Yeah, so it might mean you accept a different offer or stay in your current job and continue to apply for positions. It's really important to figure out your BATNA in advance of any negotiating conversation because it puts you in a much stronger position. You know you have a fallback position. It protects you from dirty tricks or from them putting pressure on you." I said, "Okay, that makes sense. I guess I don't really have a BATNA yet, but I suppose one could be to stay in my current job until I find a better solution that does allow for flexible work hours. My current job isn't awful. I just know that I'm ready to move on from it at some point in the near future." I thought about it a little more, and then I said, "Well, before I exercise my BATNA, I think there are some options with this current negotiation that I haven't explored yet." Paula asked, "Like what?" I said, "Maybe I could put in some guidelines around my request for flexible work hours. I could go back to them and ask for 1 day a week to be flexible work hours and see what they think." Paula said, "I like it because you'd be collaborating with them to generate options versus taking a hard line, position-based approach to bargaining." I said, "Thanks, but if we go back to the topic of BATNA for a minute, how would I actually use it if I need it?" Paula said, "Good question. Generally, you only use it once it's clear that your negotiation has reached an impasse. But you can also use your BATNA to create kind of a tripwire. Examples of tripwires I've seen in job negotiations are situations where it becomes clear to you that there's more dirty tricks going on than you're comfortable with, and you're concerned that might reflect on the work culture. Or maybe they're just not meeting your minimum salary requirements or other requirements around healthcare or retirement benefits. And ideally, you'll have those minimums planned out in advance so you can see right away if they're not going to get met. In those cases, just politely end the dialogue. You can do this with confidence because you know you have a BATNA. Okay, Scrum Masters, now it's your turn. Go ahead and note down your own personal BATNA, your best alternative to a negotiated agreement. Then put it somewhere where you can see it regularly, like on your refrigerator or your calendar. That's going to help you have the confidence you need to know that you always have choices and that you have a backup plan. So what we did in this sprint was to talk about what a BATNA is in negotiating your Scrum Master compensation. By now, you should have a BATNA and understand how you can use it to strengthen your own negotiating position.